by Duma, and I'm a UI UX designer. So today I'm taking you guys on the fundamentals of UX design. Well, not really like fundamentals per se. I would say the UI UX design process you get. So I don't know how much knowledge you guys currently have of UI UX design, but I would like this to be an interactive class. And if you have anything to like say, if you have any experience on UI UX design, go ahead. And you have any questions as well, please feel free to ask. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my screen in a minute. Okay, so guys, please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right, so basically what I want to teach you guys about today is about the process involved in designing stuff you get. So basically the UI UX design process, you use this process to design your mobile apps. You see the mobile apps you use like WhatsApp, you use this process to design it. The websites you use like Linktree, you use this process to design them, even desktop apps, TV apps and all that. So in the UI UX design process, we usually call it the design thinking process. So the design thinking process, it virtually involves 5 different steps. So whenever you want to build a product, it usually involves these 5 different steps. And it doesn't only apply to product design per se, you get, it also applies to other industries, maybe manufacturing and all that. So first of all, you have the empathize stage, you have the define stage, you have the ideate stage, then you have the prototyping stage and the testing/validation stage. So if you don't have any experience with UI UX design, this might sound foreign to you. So I guess before I start, I need to explain the difference between UI design. But before I explain that, does anyone have any idea? If you have any idea, please chip it in. Okay, so if you guys don't have any idea of what UI UX design is, let me break it down for you. So let's assume you want to build a house, right? Before you build a house, you are definitely going to call an architect to draw the architectural diagram or the architectural plan of the house. You know, you can't build anything without having the architecture, right? So once you've called your architect, it's going to draw out how the house is going to look like, and the architectural image or whatever is going to contain all the specifications that the house should have, even if it's a bungalow or a skyscraper or a duplex, you always need an architectural plan. And when you have this plan, you're going to hand it over to the builders, the engineering company, who will then help you mold the blocks, lay the bricks, lay the foundation, and build the house. And they are going to build it according to the specifications of that architectural plan, you know. So every single thing, body width, height, all the measurements will be according to the architectural plan. The same thing applies to UI UX design and software development, you get. So before you build a mobile app, let's say WhatsApp, before they build the app, they definitely hire the UI UX designer to help them design how the final product will look like. So basically what you are designing will be called the prototype, you get. So once the mobile app or the website has been designed, like WhatsApp, you are then going to hand over these designs. So let me show you something like so I don't know why this design is not loading fully, but something like this. This is for instance, this is a restaurant recommendation mobile app. So before you hire a developer, a software engineer to create this mobile app for you, you would have had a UI UX designer who would have designed it, and the developer is going to develop it according to the specifications of the design, you know, so they can get all the elements into most of the elements they need to get from design, like the width, height, spacing, typography, icons, color scheme, color codes, so many other things, even some CSS codes as well. So now this UI UX design process I just explained that you can use to create a prototype. These are the stages you create these UI UX designs. So you have the empathize stage, the empathy stage, which is here in this stage you are basically trying to understand your users. You get. So I don't know. I'm sure sometimes you usually see some people sharing some surveys with you, and in the survey they would ask you some questions like, what do you like about this product? What don't you like about this product? So these are part of the things you will do under the empathize stage. As you can see here, you have the surveys. So basically, what we have here is the process that was used to design this restaurant recommendation mobile app that I just showed you, right? So you carry out surveys, to really understand your end users, to know what they want and what they don't want. Because trust me, you don't want to design a restaurant recommendation app that nobody knows. You want the experience to be tight and yeah, all that. So we're going to carry out surveys. We're going to carry out a SWOT analysis. Um, you might not really understand what this is, but I'll explain that later. Then you're going to carry out a competitor analysis. So competitor analysis is quite simple. You're going to like you're going to study other restaurant recommendation apps out there. So you could study Yelp, you could study TripAdvisor, you could study, yeah, just those two that I can think about right now. So that's basically what empathy does. So this is an example of a survey, that you're going to ask people. Give me a minute. So this is the example of the survey that you're going to ask people concerning your restaurant recommendation app, right? So number one question, would you use the restaurant recommendation mobile app? So if assuming 100 people filled out the survey and 90 people said no, they won't use it, then obviously you have no need for creating a restaurant recommendation app because you know that nobody's going to, so there's no need to push you such a long project. Then you could also ask questions like, do you find it difficult to locate your ideal restaurant? What kind of restaurant would you like the app to display? So there are so many questions here, about 10 questions, so the answers you would get from these questions are what will guide you on how to design this app you get. So if people list out the features that they want in the surveys, are going to include those features in your app. And if people list out how they currently find the restaurants that they visit, question number 7. So you are going to study these places to know how to design your app, find out how these restaurants look like on Google Maps, social media, and all that. Then I previously mentioned competitor analysis you get. So competitor analysis, you are basically studying your competitors you get. So this is something you do in business, marketing, basically everything you are doing. So in the competitor analysis here, we have TripAdvisor, Yelp, and Restauranto, which is the name that I gave this app. Yeah, so what you're going to be studying between yourself and the competitors are basically the strengths, the weaknesses, the design, and the user experience and opportunities, as well as some other features you get. So if you see that TripAdvisor, for instance, shows the map and location of these restaurants, then obviously you should include that feature in your app. And if you see that Yelp and TripAdvisor do not let users upload pictures, then you should include that in your app. So that would be a unique selling point for your app, you get. So these are basically things you do in business, and not just business, in design, marketing, and all these skills as well. So once you've understood your users, understood your competitors, and basically how the market is for you for the product you want to design, then you would move over to the next phase. So if there's anything you didn't understand about that, please feel free to ask. Uh, so in the next stage, you have define. So the define stage is basically where you are going to, how would I put it? Cast in stone what you want to design. You get this is basically where you're going to define what you want to design based on all the data and information that you've collected from the empathize stage. You know, from the empathize stage, I'm sure you must have checked out Play Store, checked out online reviews about your competitors and all that. So now, once you've gotten all this data from both your competitors, from market research, and from your target users, you are going to take all this data and use it to define the features that you want your product to have, right? So, and you do this by creating affinity maps, as you can see right here, affinity mapping, user personas, listing out your problem statements, doing an empathy mapping, and mapping out all your features, right? So, we're going to like just brush through each of these so you understand what they mean. Yeah. So, so as you can see right here, this is a very simple version of how the affinity mapping looks like, you know. So in the affinity mapping, basically you are going to like define maybe some features and some app usage factors and basically anything that you can think of that's going to like help your app, better, more defined. So yeah, as you can see, some features that we already gathered from the surveys are location distance check, the location and approximate spend. So when I started this project back then, I think over 100 users filled out the survey you get, and a lot of users said they would like to see the menu and the approximate amount of money that they can spend on these restaurants. So similar to consumer behavior. I'm sure before you visit a restaurant, sometimes you go to their Instagram page to check out their menu, right? Or you could check out their website for their menu just to help you with budgeting and planning. So a lot of users said that in the survey. And so these are part of what you will list out in your affinity map and add to the features of your app. And there are some factors that users said determines their usage of all these apps you get. So they said that they like checking out authentic reviews and rating of various restaurants, and they like checking the distance slash location to various restaurants, and they would like to see the menu. So obviously, if you don't include all these things your app is not going to find effort. So these are some of the things to um, do in the UX design phase of your app. All right, so this is a very simple version of a user persona. This image is blank. I don't know. A picture is supposed to be showing a picture of someone. I'm sure it's my network. That's why it's not showing. So a user persona is just how would I put it? A user persona is just a fictional representation of your ideal customers. So if you're in software development, if you're in marketing, or if you're in general, product development, you come across this a lot. So even if you write business plans, I'm sure you would have a user, sure you know how to do user personas as well. So user personas are basically just a guide to let you know the type of users you have so that it just makes you stay on track when you are creating your product, designing your product, or offering a service. Because let's assume you're a furniture company. You get your ideal user persona would be families, family people or office people. You get companies. You wouldn't want your user persona ideally would not be students. You wouldn't want to be marketing to students. You wouldn't want to be designing or creating your service for students because obviously they can't afford furniture. What do they really need furniture? So that's the same in this case in UX design. So yeah, you're basically just going to create a fictional representation of your target audience for this app. And for this app, we created someone named Esther Rose. She's a traveler. She's 28 years old. Her marital status is single and her nationality is Nigerian. So ideally, a traveler is someone who is going to be like visiting restaurants a lot, right? So, and you can get all this data from your surveys and you can use ChatGPT as well to get the data. Yeah. So some of the goals or what they want to achieve is the ability to easily locate restaurants, as you can see. A lot of users are going to drop this in your service if you do carry out service. So yeah, it's quite easy to get this data. And you can also see someone saying something, please. Okay. So as you can also see some of the pain points that some users have in this case for this restaurant recommendation app is not being able to determine the quality of food before visiting these restaurants, and how can you achieve this? How can you help them solve these pain points by including ratings and reviews? You know, if a lot of users drop one-star reviews on a particular restaurant, trust me, nobody's going to want to visit. Or if all the users drop five-star, four-star reviews, then a lot of people will want to see them. So that's how it works. Yeah. Then, as you can also see, you will list out the problem statement. This is quite self-explanatory, um, and can also carry out empathy mapping to understand what your users say, what they think, what they feel, and what they do. So let's go through this empathy mapping because it really makes a lot of sense. So ideally, for a user who would want to use a restaurant recommendation mobile app, what do you think they could actually say on a very random day? A user could say he wants to go out with his crush, or a user could say he's hungry and he feels like eating out. Mm. So a user could say he's hungry, he wants to eat out. So a user could say they want to go out on a date. You get, and the next thing that they're going to think of is, are there any restaurants close by? Or can I find an affordable and nice restaurant that is budget friendly, this stuff. Then what do you think they're going to do after they've said this, they've thought of this? They're going to like, you know, search on this app for any restaurants close to their office or their home, or they are going to go to Google and search for restaurants with their menus displayed on the app. So a lot of people do this. You could go to Google, search for restaurants in Aja, restaurants in VI, restaurants in Lekki, and then you check the menu of these restaurants, check their price list, and the one that's within your budget, you would go for that restaurant. And once you've been able to achieve this, you would feel excited, happy, and all that. So you have to have all these things at the back of your mind when you are designing a product. Because if you don't have all these things at the back of your mind, or you've not mapped out all these things, your product will not perform well in the market. So yeah. So that is basically the defined stage. You can see now with that stage, we've already defined all what we want in our app. We already understand our users and we already know what we are going to do. So once we understand what we want to do, we are going to move over to the ideate stage, which is where most of the work is, or a lot of the work as well. So in the ideate stage, this is basically, ideation. The word ideation is quite self-explanatory, right? So ideation basically means to outline, to map out the idea that you have in your head, right? So, and there are different ways that you can use to carry this out. You can use you can use card sorting, you can use a user flow charts, an architectural flow, stuff like that. You can use the user journey mapping, the low fidelity wireframe, and the high fidelity wireframes. So, let me show you quickly what is. If you are not following, please feel free to ask a question. All right. So since you already, so card sorting is basically, you know, is a process used to organize your websites or potential mobile app into teams, teams like THEMES, teams that make sense, into parts that make sense. You get so usually carry out card sorting with different users. So in an ideal product design environment, you are going to have different teams, different cards on a table, right? Then you're going to call different users, like real life users out there, and you're going to tell them to arrange these cards into things that make sense. You get, well, not everybody does this in the right way, so they have different ways to carry this out. So in this case now, this was the card sorting that we did for this restaurant recommendation app. In this card sorting, we try to identify all the pages that this app would have. You get similar to how WhatsApp has different pages. You have the status page, the call page, chat page. So on this app, we identify the core pages, and the core pages were comprised of the home page, the search screen, the ratings and review screen, the map view screen, the filter screen, the restaurant details page, the user profile screen, the wish list screen, and the sign up slash login page. You get. So this is what. So this kind of something is kind of like a mini architectural information architecture. Yeah, a mini information architecture. It enables you to like organize how your platform is going to look like in a natural sense. So once you've identified these core pages, and you come and identify all the elements that will be under the home page, then all the elements that will be under the restaurant details page, and all that. So many is just so this tool is very, 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 very versatile. Okay, so and for instance, under the home page, you have the search bar, the filter cards, the specific cuisines, featured restaurants, and location-based recommendations. You get. So these are the. I don't know why this stuff is not loading. Just give me a minute. Let me see if I can resolve this. Guys, please give me a minute. I'm just trying to like make these designs load well. Okay. All right. So as you all can see, this is the final, or this was the final version of the restaurant recommendation app that, yeah, we designed or I designed. So as you can see on the homepage, similar to what we did in the card sorting session, as you can see, the homepage had different elements. It had a search bar, and you can see right here that there is a search bar here, right? So look at the search bar to search for any restaurant. And the homepage also had filter cards, and these are the filter cards at the top to let you filter through Japanese cuisines, Chinese cuisines, or African dishes. You get, and Similarly, we also had specific cuisines and featured restaurants. Right here, look at the featured restaurants in the Chicken Republic, for instance, with the ratings featured here, the price of their dishes, as well as their opening and closing times you get, as well as some cuisines. So how did we get all this information? How did we know how to design this stuff in this particular way? I mean, this design actually does make sense, right? So what we did is we carried out surveys, like I mentioned. You have to carry out those surveys, competitor analysis, and all that. So when you carry out these surveys and users tell you that they want to see the price of restaurants, so automatically and obviously you know that you need to include this in your mobile app. You know that you need to include the opening and closing times of these restaurants, right? So that's the same thing here. As you can see, some users say they want to see the menu, and you can see users can view the from right here. They can see the ratings and reviews, so many other things. So these are, some of the things that you will gather during the design thinking process. And this as well is the user flow. So, when you are designing a product, it's usually advisable that you are able to map out the end-to-end flow of the, you know, um, mobile app website or whatever it is you are designing. I know you guys might be thinking that isn't this a lot for UI UX design or product design? Well, it's not really a lot. Designing a typical product, designing a typical product usually takes about 2 to 3 months or 1 month, depending on the complexity of the product. So there's always ample time. So, but for instance, for this restaurant recommendation, this was the sample flow. So you had the splash screen. From the splash screen, the user will move over to the boarding screen, then sign up. From sign up, the user can branch off to two different places, which are the login or the homepage, right? And from login, the user can move over to the homepage as well, or move to the forgot password screen, reset password, and back to homepage. So, and this also shows the various other pages that the user can move to from the homepage, as you can see right here, and as designed here as well. So these are just some of the, processes that you have to take to get an outstanding product. So then, once you've been able to map out all these things I've shown you so far, right? Before you would actually start creating UI design proper, your prototype, you would most likely want to sketch out all what you have in your paper, right? And that's where we have the low fidelity wireframes. So here you usually, you know, get a pen, get a paper, and sketch out everything on paper. It makes it much easier. It's basically the same way when you are reading or something, you have an idea, jot it down on the spot. Someone says you can't hear me. Can you hear me now? If you all cannot hear me, please just draw my attention to it. All right. So that's what the low fidelity wireframe is. And then the high fidelity wireframe now means converting what you've drawn on paper into high fidelity wireframes. Now, this should not be confused for the final design, right? So at the top, what you have at the top right here, let me show you some. Hearing. So what you have coming, okay, this. What you have at the top right here is these are high fidelity wireframes, just a graphical representation of what you want to design. This is a home page, search page, wish list page, and the map page. Now, once you've done this, you're going to then build or design the actual prototype. And these are the actual prototype now looks like. So your high fidelity wireframe. So the final design or the UI design or the prototype or whatever you want to call it is just the final refinement of your high fidelity wireframes. And as you can see, this looks way different from what we have at the top. So these are the final design. right? There is a map screen, the filter screen, user profile screen, and the wish list page. So, and this is what we do at the prototype stage of the product design process, right? So here we are going to create our design system and we are going to have the final UI designs. Yeah. So your design system basically means your buttons, all these your chips and what else? Your fonts, your colors, and your icons and all that. All this makes up your design system, and you create them while you are making the prototype. If you want to create your own design system, there are a lot of pre-made design systems out there. You have the Google Material Design System right here in Figma. See it. You have the Let me add them. So right here you have the give me a minute. Give me a minute. Let me refresh this page, please. Okay, the pictures are not showing. I don't know why. But, so, so like as I was saying, during the prototype stage, you create your final designs and your design system, right? The prototype itself for the UI design system. So you can create your design system from scratch, right? But it takes a lot of time. It's very time consuming to create your design specifications, the font, typography, colors, grid, alignment, spacing, every single thing. It takes a lot of time. But if you want to save up on time, it's usually advisable to use a pre-made design system out there. There are a lot of design systems out there that have all the templates you need. They already have buttons, they already have the colors, they already have the typography, they already have the icons, every single thing. So you don't have to create all these things from scratch. All you just be doing in this case is just to like maybe drag and drop, edit some things and tweak some things and all that. I could show I could have shown you guys some sample designs. So let's look at this first. So Figma comes with three design systems natively, right? So you have the iOS 18 and the iPad OS 18 design system in Figma. You can even get things like calendars, illustrations, um, time pickers. Instead of designing all those things from scratch, you just get them here, right? Um, you know, just get them here, see the buttons, keyboards as well. Because design all those things will be very, 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 very stressful. Then you have the material theory design system that you can see. This one is owned by Google. This is Google's universal design system, and in my opinion, it's the best design system in the world. So you could also make use of this as well. Then you have the simple design system, which is Figma's own design system, is their own inbuilt design system. It's quite robust as well. It has 372 components, the highest of any I've ever seen. So but in the Figma community, you could also search for other design systems out there. There are like dozens of them, if not hundreds, right? So once you've done all these things and you have your final design, like you wouldn't just put it out there and give it to developers to use, right? You would have to do some sort of testing. You get to make sure that you've not designed something that doesn't make sense. Yet. So in this case, when you already have your final designs, you could download the Figma mobile app, which is called Figma, basically on Play Store or the Apple App Store. You could access your designs from there, just like the prototype. You could interact with it once you prototyped it. Then you would then give this to end users and ask them to use it, to interact with it, to see if they are able to make sense of it. You get so obviously once you've designed all this for a restaurant recommendation app, you would give out your design to some end users out there and tell them to carry out usability testing on it as you have here. Yeah, so in this case, you could tell a user to try and book a restaurant. So if the user is able to do this end to end without any issues, then you will know that what you design is top notch. You get top notch and is on point. But if you find out that all your users are confused, they don't know what to do, they don't know where to go, they don't know how to book for a restaurant, then you and your design team would have to revisit what you guys designed and make a lot of corrections and changes. Here, you would also get feedback from the users, asking them what you need to improve, what you need to add, what you need to remove, and this would guide you towards designing the end product. So once you've done all this and users are satisfied and it's good to go, you will then hand over your design. You know, you will then come over here and share this design to some developers you get, or to the client that hired you to do it. So that's basically the end-to-end design process, for creating mobile apps, websites, and all that. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have any questions. So that's all for now. Okay, I can see some comments in the chat. So yeah, the class has ended, everyone. Yeah. So someone was asking if we can refer the empathy stage as research stage. Yeah, of course, you can refer to the empathy stage as the research stage as well. In fact, that empathy stage is basically what you call UX research. You get so there are different roles in UI UX design. You have UX researchers, and that's basically what they focus on. Yeah, that empathy stage can also be called the UX research stage. Yeah. Okay. All right. Quick one. I'll be dropping off very soon. But someone asked the Figma app. The Figma app on the phone. You can't design. You can't design on your phone, right? The Figma app on the phone is just for you to view what you've designed on the laptop. Okay. So you need to access Figma through your PC device, through your laptop, right? So you can use the um or the cognition. You can use the Figma website to access it through your browser, or you could use the Figma app on your PC. So, so how you know how to place those things, like on the search bar on the homepage and all that, it's basically it takes practice, So when and you have to carry out a lot of research as well. You have to check out similar websites or similar mobile apps and see how they are doing theirs. You get so you could go to Behance.net and search for inspiration from similar platforms and just be unique. Normal, I'm the one that just put that search bar, try just to be unique. It doesn't have to be there. It could be at the top. Most people put it at the top, so it doesn't have to be there at the bottom. Well, I prefer using Figma through my browser directly, like online through the web. I prefer it to um, using the app. And for high fidelity wireframes, you don't get them from anywhere. You're going to design them from scratch by yourself. Yeah. So that's how it works. You design them by yourself from scratch. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I'm going to be um, dropping off now. So there are going to be other classes. I'm sure the admin is going to communicate to you guys. There are going to be other classes. And this time there could be practical. Yeah. So they're going to communicate that to you guys.